Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 34. Naikatmatam me sfrayanti kechin matpada seva bhiratam mad iha ye anyon yato bhagavata prasajya sabha jayante mama paurushani. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, a pure devotee who is attached to the activities of devotional service and who always engages in the service of my lotus feet, never desires to become one with me. Such a devotee who is unflinchingly engaged always glorifies my pastimes and activities. So purport by Srila Prabhupada, there are 5 kinds of liberation stated in the scriptures. One is to become one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or to forsake one's individuality and merge into the Supreme Spirit. This is called Ekatmatam. So there are 5 kinds of liberation, and one kind of liberation is called Ekatmatam, in which the soul does not want to remain an individual anymore, wants to merge into the individuality of the Supreme Lord, wants to merge into the Supreme Spirit, means wants to become God indirectly, in other words saying, because, oh, I don't want to be an individual anymore, but I want to become God. So Krishna gives that provision for these souls to think that they have become God by letting them enter into his personal effulgence. A devotee never accepts this kind of liberation. The other 4 liberations are to be promoted to the same planet as God, Vaikuntha, to associate personally with the Supreme Lord, to achieve the same opulence as the Lord, and to attain the same bodily features as the Supreme Lord. So the first one was to give up one's individuality and merge into the Supreme Spirit, and to think that, yes, I have become God now. So one is that, then the other is to be promoted to the same planet in Vaikuntha Lok, but to go and live on the same planet where the Lord is living, or to have personal associate with the Lord, to achieve the same opulence as the Lord, and to attain the same bodily features, to look same like the Lord, look same like him. A pure devotee, as will be explained by Kapila Muni, does not aspire for any of these 5 liberations. He especially despises as hellish the idea of becoming one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shri Prabodhananda Saraswati, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, said, Kevalyam narakayate. The happiness of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, which is aspired for by the Mayavadis, is considered hellish. That oneness is not for pure devotees. So why the pure devotee does not want to merge, give up his individuality, and pretend that he's become God by becoming one with the Supreme means I've become God now. So why the pure devotee does not want that?
Because
Anyone?
he wants to serve.
That's right.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, because he's experiencing higher happiness. You see, the soul is Anandamaya Abhyasat, always happy. But the happiness which the soul experiences by just saying, oh, yes, I'm a soul, he's realized. Huh? He's realized he's a soul. So that happiness is called spiritual happiness. But the happiness of devotional service is even greater. It's even greater because devotional service begins from the liberated platform. Pure devotional service begins from the liberated platform. And that happiness is like an unending ocean of bliss, unending. The happiness keeps on increasing, keeps on increasing. So there are many so-called devotees who think that in the conditioned state, we may worship the personality of Godhead, but that ultimately there is no personality. They say that since the absolute truth is impersonal, one can imagine a personal form of the impersonal absolute truth for time being. But as soon as one becomes liberated, the worship stops. That is the theory put forward by the Mayavad philosophy. Actually, the impersonalists do not merge into the existence of the Supreme Person, but into his personal bodily luster, which is called the Brahmajyoti. Although that Brahmajyoti is not different from his personal body, that sort of oneness, merging into the bodily luster of the personality of Godhead, is not accepted by a pure devotee because the devotee engaged in greater pleasure than the so-called pleasure of merging into his existence. The greatest pleasure is to serve the Lord. Devotees are always thinking about how to serve him. They're always designing ways and means to serve the Supreme Lord, even in the midst of the greatest obstacles of material existence. So it's not that the absolute truth, we can imagine any form of the absolute truth. No, absolute truth is the absolute truth. If we imagine any form, then we are putting our material idea in it. So if we say, okay, I will just imagine the absolute truth has some kind of a vague thing, or maybe some form, whatever you call, and I will worship this form. But after I get liberated, I am going to become the absolute truth. So that's never going to happen. Why? Because that's not the truth. That's not the fact. And if we believe in it, then we are not willing to accept what is the fact. The fact is, if we think, yes, I'm going to become the absolute truth after I get liberated, what happens is we are just going to be in the Brahma Jyoti, in the Brahman effulgence of the Lord. And yet we never give up our individuality. A soul can never, ever cease to exist because it is Shasvata Yam Purano. It's eternal. Something that's eternal cannot stop to exist. That's just like a phantasmagoria kind of a thing, to pretend that I don't exist anymore. If I go to sleep and I pretend I don't exist anymore, it's just I'm pretending. I still exist. So anyway, as we said, the devotee, he's deriving the greatest pleasure. The Mayavadis accept the description of the pastimes of the Lord as stories, but actually they are not stories. They are historical facts. Pure devotees accept the narrations of the pastimes of the Lord not as stories, but as absolute truth. So the absolute truth, he's on the absolute platform. So what does it mean, absolute platform? When I say, Prabhupada would say, when I say water, 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 my thirst is not going to get quenched. I have to drink the water to quench my thirst. But on the absolute platform, there is no difference between the name and the object. So when we are saying Krishna, 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 it is Krishna himself. Now we may say, oh, but I'm not able to experience Krishna. I'm not able to see Krishna. But how are we calling? Are we able to call him in that proper way? But gradually, the more we practice, practice makes perfect. You know, we may not be able to walk when we are babies, but the baby does not give up. He'll get up, start walking, fall down, again get up, start walking. One day he can walk. Similarly, same with us. So the pastimes of the Lord is also absolute truth. There's no difference. It's not mythology, or, you know, as some people say, it's, you know, just we don't know what it is. No, it is absolute truth. The words Mama Paurushani are significant. Devotees are very much attached to glorifying the activities of the Lord, whereas the Mayavadis cannot even think of these activities. According to them, the absolute truth is impersonal. Without personal existence, how can there be activity? The impersonalists take the activities mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other Vedic literatures as fictitious stories, and therefore they interpret them most mischievously. They have no idea of the personality of Godhead. They unnecessarily poke their noses into the scripture and interpret it in a deceptive way in order to mislead the innocent public. The activities of Mayavad philosophy are very dangerous to the public, and therefore Lord Chaitanya warned us never to hear from any Mayavadi about any scripture. They will spoil the entire process, and the person hearing them will never be able to come to the path of devotional service to attain the highest perfection, or will be able to do so only after a very long time. So for our own benefit, we should hear the scriptures from the devotees, because the devotees know how to properly understand the scripture, know how to properly glorify the Supreme Lord. The devotee does not want to misinterpret the scripture. It is clearly stated by Kapila Muni that bhakti activities or activities in devotional service are transcendental to mukti. So mukti is a very high platform. It's liberation. It's from the it's a platform where the soul is understood. Yes, I am the soul. But bhakti goes beyond that. It goes even further, because bhakti begins from the liberated platform. We understand, oh, I'm not the body, I'm the soul, I'm an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, and engaging in bhakti. This is called Panchama Purushartha. Panchama Purushartha. Generally, people engage in the activities of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and ultimately they work with an idea that they're going to become one with the Supreme Lord, mukti. But bhakti is transcendental to all these activities. So religion, economic development, sense gratification, all these are the results that we get are temporary. But the result of engaging in even a slight devotional service, that is eternal. But, the Srimad Bhagavatam therefore begins by stating.
Sorry, what did you mean by becoming one with the Supreme Lord? Mukti over here. What does it exactly mean?
So means thinking that I have become the Supreme Lord, that I am the Supreme.
So merging into
that can never happen.
Merging into the Brahma Jyoti, is that what it means?
Merge. Yeah. Oh. So merging into the Brahma Jyoti, there are two kinds of impersonalists. One thinks, okay, now that I'm sitting in the Brahma Jyoti, I've become God. And the other one, the Brahmavadi. The Brahmavadi understands, yes, I am liberated, I am the soul, but I am not the supreme soul. I am Brahman, yes, but I am not the supreme Brahman. So merging into the supreme means those who want to think now, yes, I have become God now, because I am already understood, I'm the soul. I'm already liberated. I'm no more thinking I'm the body. I'm already thinking I'm the soul. And so I become God.
Is it to do with Jnanis?
The destination.
Is it to do with Jnanis? That's what they.
So that then, and so the destination will be the Brahma Jyoti. And then the mentality is, okay, I've become God now. Merging, so becoming one with the Supreme. That I have become that one. I have become the Supreme Brahman now.
So that's Mayavadi.
That's Mayavadi, yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we are always individuals. We can never, ever give up our individuality. So yes, we are souls. Yes, we understand soul is very great, very happy, very bright, very full of light, full of power. Yes, that's right. Yes. But the soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. That is what we have to understand. That the soul, even though is so great, yes, but is a part of the Supreme Soul. Part and parcel. And so once one understands, oh yes, I'm a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. Oh, so what do I have to do? And also understanding that the soul is always active, can never be inactive. So what do I have to do? Then I engage in devotional service. So what does a devotee do? Engages in devotional service till when they are in the body, and devotional service continues even after being liberated. Never stops. So devotee, even when he goes to the spiritual world, he continues in devotional service. So is that okay?
Yeah, yeah. So it's called Panchama Purushartha. Purushartha. Right? Engage in devotional service. Yeah, that's what it says. Yeah.
This is called Panchama Purushartha. Yeah.
Panchama Purushartha.
Yeah. So Srimad Bhagavatam therefore begins by stating that all kinds of pretentious religiosity is completely eradicated from the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam says this, Kaitava Dharma, it calls the economic development, religion, economic development, sense gratification and liberation is all called Kaitava Dharma. And Srimad Bhagavatam says that completely rejects it, completely rejects all this and speaks only of pure devotional service. Understands it deals only with pure devotional service. So ritualistic activities for economic development and sense gratification, and after frustration in sense gratification, the desire to become one with the Supreme Lord are all completely rejected in the Bhagavatam. So why does one want to become, why does a soul want to become one with the Supreme? What happens is in the evolution of consciousness, one does ritualistic activities, a lot of pious activities. Why? Because when we do that, we get economic development. And why do we want economic development? So that we can do sense gratification. Why? Because we think, okay, I'm the body and that's what I'm supposed to do. But after engaging in sense gratification for many, many lifetimes, then comes a realization that sense gratification is just giving me more and more frustration, more and more misery. I don't want to remain an individual anymore. I want to become one with the Supreme. So all this is rejected in the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam is especially meant for the pure devotees who always engage in Krishna consciousness, in the activities of the Lord, and always glorify these transcendental activities. Pure devotees worship the transcendental activities of the Lord in Vrindavan, Dwarka, and Mathura, as they are narrated in the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. So the devotees of the Lord, they always want to glorify. By hearing and chanting, we are glorifying the Lord. By hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam, we are glorifying the Supreme Lord. And so the pure devotees, they always, what they want to do, they always want to hear and chant about the activities of the Lord. It's like this, no, as we say, that there's someone we love, say some friend or someone, it could be anyone. We really love them. All the time we like to talk about them. Oh, he said this, or she did this, We like to speak continuously about them. So same, love for God is in the heart of everyone. Every living entity has love for God. We just have to revive it. That's all. The Mayavadi philosophers completely reject them as stories, but actually they are great and worshipable subject matters, and thus are relishable only for devotees. That is the difference between a Mayavadi and a pure devotee. So a Mayavadi philosopher, he thinks that these are just stories. Why are you wasting my time? But the devotee understands that this is completely transcendental. It is about the Supreme Lord. So I may not be relishing it now. I may not be relishing it, but let me still hear. Let me continue to hear. As we said yesterday, the medicine, we may not know how it works, and we may not like to take it because it's bitter. But if we just sincerely, we say, I want to become well, I want to be cured, let me take the medicine. So we continue hearing and chanting, and we will experience the highest bliss. And we are experiencing, that's why we continue doing it. Otherwise we wouldn't do it. There is bliss. Yeah, is that okay?
Yes, true. Very true. That's why we get up right in the morning and we're doing this.
Yeah, it's Krishna is sweet. He attracts. He's the one who attracts. Yeah. So otherwise, you think we will get up every morning to come and together and read a newspaper like this? Don't think so.
There's something magical in it, really. Something magical in it. That, that we feel like, yeah, true.
That is Krishna magic.
That's magic. Right.
Yamuna Devi, she was one of the early devotees in the ISKCON movement, very dear devotee. And she would say Krishna's magic, So it's Krishna. He's the one who's all attractive, and every living entity is Krishna conscious, is attracted to Krishna, has an eternal relationship with Krishna. So it's just that. So, shall we stop here for today?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening and joining in and all your participation. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.